It's May 8th, 1945. The German army has officially surrendered, and victory in Europe has been established. By April 30th, Berlin is in ruins. The Third Reich is on its last breath, and deep within the Führerbunker, Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun reportedly end it all. Before we begin, this video is a follow-on from our most previous episode, which covered the strategy of how we got to this point of a defeated Germany. Click the link in the description. In this video, we are going to cover three main points that may support the theory that Hitler escaped Germany and traveled through Europe to Argentina. The U-boat theory is one of the most discussed aspects of the Adolf Hitler escape conspiracy, with several declassified intelligence reports and eyewitness accounts adding fuel to the speculation. During World War II, Nazi Germany had a formidable submarine fleet. By the war's end, it had lost most of its sea defenses, but some U-boats were still active, particularly in the Atlantic. And as the Third Reich collapsed, many high-ranking Nazi officials sought ways to escape prosecution, and the Führerbunker, with its vast network of underground tunnels, was a perfect escape route. This theory goes that Hitler was able to escape Berlin through vast, complex underground tunnels, dubbed Operation Ratline. These tunnels allowed high-ranking Nazi war criminals a safe route onto submarines bound for South America. The German submarine U-530 arrived in Mar del Plata, Argentina, 2 months after Germany's unconditional surrender. This U-boat had been at sea for over 100 days, traveling nearly 8,000 miles underwater. This is where Argentinian President Juan Perón comes in. It's important to understand Perón's stance on Nazi Germany and how he was open to letting high-ranking German officers into South America.
Juan Perón was a corrupt man. He embezzled more than $1 billion while in office and had a history of rehoming cold-blooded war criminals such as Adolf Eichmann. Eichmann was responsible for the exportation of over 2 million Jewish people to work camps. He lived in Argentina freely until May 1960.
With the Argentinian leader, Juan Perón, being known to rehome war criminals and Hitler's vast access to gold deposits, it is not beyond the realms of possibility that Hitler could have made this trip. In the late 1970s, a series of declassified documents began to surface, revealing startling revelations. The CIA began its own investigation into Hitler's whereabouts, including a significant claim that the American intelligence agency had been actively searching for him in South America, particularly in Argentina. But it wasn't just the CIA that was interested. Other intelligence agencies, including the KGB, were reportedly following similar trails, each with their own theories about Hitler's survival. The race to find him, if he was indeed alive, became an intelligence game played in the shadows. As we touched on earlier, Argentina became a second home for many high-ranking German war criminals. It was no accident that Argentina became a haven for Nazi fugitives. Perón saw an opportunity to offer sanctuary to fleeing Nazi officers in exchange for their expertise in military intelligence, industry, and technology. With a network of secret supporters in Europe, escape routes, known as the ratlines, were put into motion. This brings us on to how the ratlines worked. One of the most crucial facilitators of these escapes was the Catholic Church. Certain members within the Vatican provided travel documents and logistical support to fleeing Nazis. The ratlines were covert escape routes used by Nazi war criminals and collaborators to flee Europe, primarily to South America. These pathways were not the work of a single entity, but rather an underground network of sympathizers, corrupt officials, and religious organizations. The journey to South America often began in Italy. Fugitives would make their way to cities like Rome or Genoa, where sympathetic operatives would provide them with fake identities. From there, they boarded ships bound for Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Chile. Once they arrived in South America, they were absorbed into hidden Nazi colonies or assumed new lives under false names. By the late 1940s and early 1950s, hundreds of Nazi officials, SS officers, and war criminals had successfully reached Argentina. There, under the protection of Juan Perón's government, they were provided new identities, financial support, and even government jobs. But who were these escaped criminals exactly?
Joseph Mengele, dubbed the Angel of Death during the war, escaped to Argentina in 1949. Never received punishment for his crimes. Erich Priebke, captain of the SS, escaped to South America after the war using the ratlines.
Summarizing the process of German war criminals escaping to South America after the war, it is also a strong possibility that Adolf Hitler could have been a part of these covert operations to evade conviction. After Soviet troops stormed Berlin in May 1945, they launched an intensive search for Hitler's remains. Soviet leader Joseph Stalin was convinced that Hitler had escaped. The official story was that Hitler had his closest remaining allies dispose of his remains while Berlin was being surrounded, out of fear that the Soviet army would use his body for a parade. But not all of Hitler's remains were destroyed. Some key fragments, a section of his skull and his jawbone with dental work, had been secretly transported to Moscow in 1945. For decades, they were locked away in Soviet archives, shielded from public scrutiny. For over 60 years, the skull fragment housed in Moscow was believed to be part of Hitler's cranium, a grim trophy proving victory. Then, in 2009, an American research team was granted access to study it. Their DNA analysis revealed something shocking. The skull fragment did not belong to Hitler at all. It belonged to a woman who was under the age of 40 at the time. With that being said, if the KGB were in fact in possession of Hitler's remains, why would they launch a worldwide investigation into his whereabouts in Argentina, wasting valuable manpower and resources to locate a man they allegedly found after the war? It does also have to be said, however, that the dental work found in the ashes did in fact match the DNA of dental records kept in Germany when Hitler had undergone surgery. At the time of recording this video, current Argentinian President Javier Milei has announced plans to open the nation's archives concerning the ratlines that enabled numerous Nazi war criminals to flee Europe and settle in Argentina after World War II, as we have discussed in this video. The forthcoming release of these archives is anticipated to shed light on the extent of Argentina's involvement in assisting Nazi fugitives, potentially revealing details about the networks that facilitated their escape and integration into Argentinian society. This move has been praised by various organizations and is seen as a significant step toward historical transparency and justice. Perhaps we can revisit this topic when these documents have released and have a clearer indication on whether Hitler did indeed manage to flee Germany after World War II. It must be said that the claims in this video are all alleged, and we are merely giving you the facts and visualization to explore a topic that is highly discussed throughout the world. Did Argentina have a hand in aiding Nazi war criminals after the war? Yes. Did Hitler manage to escape Berlin after the war? Perhaps. I would like to thank you once again if you have made it to the end of the video. A lot of time and energy went into this one. So please, leave a like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. It helps us massively.